Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And it's Saturday, which means it is time for Star Trek. I do apologize for the lack of camera, but I am too sick to be on camera. So, um, but besides that, I have everybody with me today. I've got Hammer,
Hello.
and I have Dax, and I have Skip Talk,
Hey, everybody.
and I have Irate.
Hello. Hi.
And today we are going to be talking about Irate Prostate's picks for Voyager, and they're actually they're really good. I was very excited when you told me the last one. His picks are the Phage from season 1, Flashback from season 3, and the Equinox, which is a two-parter. It ends season 5 and starts season 6, and all three of them are good. Honestly, Flashback is my least favorite. I like it, but it's my least favorite. Um, but if we're ready to jump right into it,
Let's just jump into it.
let's just jump into
Let's just jump right in.
it. So if we want to start in chronological order, I guess we'll go with the Phage, which is a season 1 episode, and it's the fourth episode, and it basically it's a simple plot. They're Voyagers looking for more dilithium, because they're running low, and Neelix knows of a planet, or a planetoid, I should say, that is supposed to have dilithium. And instead of dilithium, they encounter an alien race that we will encounter more often in Voyager, called the Vidians. And they, within the first 10 minutes of the episode, take Neelix's lungs right out of his body.
That's right.
And
Just go ahead and take these.
yeah, and the episode centers around trying to keep Neelix alive and finding out more about these Vidians. And I have to say, for a season 1 episode, it's a really, really good episode. Because for most Star Trek in season 1, there are a couple of, and that was, a foreshadow of better Trek to come, but usually there aren't many episodes that are like, damn, that was a good episode. And the Phage, to me, is one of those, damn, that was a good episode. And so what made you pick it, Irate?
I mean, it's like when you said, pick your favorite. I mean, that's just the first one that popped in my head.
Yeah.
And it's like it. I remember when I saw it originally, as broadcast television, it just blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, this is these guys. And to be honest, I didn't think that they utilized the Vidians at all, as near as much as they could have.
I think they should have taken the place of the Kazon, quite honestly.
Thank you. That's kind of where I was going with that. That was my one big regret. It's like, oh, dude, if they'd have done it anyway, what it could have, should have.
Yeah.
But this episode is just and the focus with dealing with Neelix. It's like it's one of those that first also focused on him.
Yeah.
And pretty much just it's just a story, propelled. We meet this species that's been ravaged by this plague for generations, and it's gotten to a point of where they're stealing whatever they can to stay alive.
Yeah.
And it's like they're like real vampires.
They are, yeah.
Zombies and shit, right? So very ghoulish. The idea, the horror aspect of it appeals to me, of course.
It was a very well done, like, there were a couple of scenes that were straight out of a horror movie, including the obligatory, is there anybody here? I know there's somebody here. Of course. But what I like about this episode is that it also starts a lot of story arcs that continue. Like Cass's medical training starts in this episode because Doc is frankly fed up with Tom Paris's assistance. And he is, for a hologram, kind of having a bit of anxiety about how the hell am I supposed to be a full-time doctor when I'm programmed to be an emergency stopgap.
Right.
I don't have a counselor to help me deal with Neelix, because Neelix is dealing with a big point in the story is Doc fashions holographic lungs for Neelix to keep him alive, which gives birth to one of the funniest scenes in the episode, where Tom is like, but how are holographic lungs supposed to be, how are they going to work in a physical person? And Doc just manipulates his matrix and, smacks Tom.
And then he follows up with, now you hit me.
Yeah. And alters his matrix again. And just...
I like the line, the man drives a 700,000 ton starship, so someone thinks he'd make a good medic.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some good comic relief in this. And
there's always a smart ass response in every episode. I noticed that too.
Yeah.
So
one of my favorites is Janeway walking into her private dining room to find, because this is the beginning of Neelix's story arc as well as not only as basically navigator and guide into a member of the crew as a chef for the crew, because the mess hall just basically has become a staple, in the rest of Voyager, but this is the beginning of the mess hall,
right,
which is actually Janeway's private
dining. Yeah.
He's just like, I'll just take this space. And I love how she's like, she doesn't quite know what to do. She's just...
Well, I mean, it's I'm sure he's didn't even think about it, right? It's oh, wow, I can, dude, I can make, and starts cooking shit,
Well,
right?
That's what he's used to, right?
Exactly.
He's a salvage guy.
Right.
So he just knows how to make something out of nothing.
Exactly.
And that's what I like about Neelix, honestly, as a character. He's he can be annoying, especially in season 1 before they kind of toned down
his neurosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be fair, he's a bit of a spaz in the early seasons.
It's like Sonic the Hedgehog had a baby with a Ferengi.
Yeah.
He does look like a hedgehog.
Well, Ethan Phillips did play a Ferengi.
Yep.
Oh, really?
In,
Yeah,
Menage
that's
a
right.
Troy.
That's right.
He played the evil doctor Ferengi.
Yeah. That's a great episode.
That was so funny.
A couple of things about this episode kind of drive me crazy. They just don't make sense in the world when it comes to what's going on here. You have this starship that is smart and fast and designed to fight the Maquis, yet her personal mess is big enough for 30 people and a full galley.
No shit, man. It's almost like it's
personal. I mean, how much room does she need to eat?
no doubt.
Yeah,
That
you
really
Well,
probably
should
she's
have
got to
been-
be able to entertain her senior staff.
Yeah, but it's not 10 Ford.
Yeah,
It's
they're
her
not
personal dining room.
anticipating any monthly cycle shit or anything, right?
It's her personal dining room, is what she said, and she says it twice or 3 times. It's just way too big for her personal dining room, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. It just doesn't make any sense. Not for what that ship was
I
built
thought
to do.
the same thing, man. It's like, whoa, that's overkill there, Cat.
Again, it was probably designed to entertain other officers, like you were saying. It makes the most sense.
Or maybe diplomatic, you know.
Yeah, I mean, because you're bound to run into somebody you're going to have to negotiate. You got to have something to be presentable.
The other thing is, why does this ship built for combat have a personal dining space for the captain?
Yeah, that's
But
that's,
there's none in TNG. There's none in
Oh.
DS9. There's none anywhere else. Not in TOS. Nobody has a personal dining space except for this one, and a ship that should not have it. It
What
doesn't
is-
make sense.
What's your theory, Skip?
it's also got a yacht on it, dude.
Yeah, I thought it was awfully big for, it's a lot of space to devote to the captain's mess. Captain's mess is a thing in the Navy, and it does exist. The captain usually eats his meals by himself. The captain is rarely off the
Picard
bridge
had a captain's
when you're
mess.
out at sea.
Mhm.
And
Kirk had a captain's mess?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Picard
Skip.
did.
Picard did. But
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
There's a couple of episodes where you see it. In the first episode, you see Kern. He meets
let's see if we can get a picture.
somebody in. Oh, is that?
Yeah, if you had a picture, share it, because I know there's 10 Ford, of course.
He meets
No.
But he's with Beverly all the time.
Riker in the turbo lift, and Riker says to Kern, "Captain's mess," and Kern nods, and
Do we ever
that's
see it?
Yes, because there's a bit of a scene where Kern is trying human food, and he doesn't, he's not liking very much of it, and Geordi doesn't seem to disagree.
Oh, that's
with
where he
Worf.
says, yeah, that's where I'm sure it's well cooked.
And and he
Yeah.
looks at Kern,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Worf, and goes, "No, it doesn't." Like he just.
I remember that now. I remember
Yeah.
that place now. It never struck me as being quite the captain's mess. It just seemed like a small mess hall, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like in where no one has gone before.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
there's a
It's a smaller mess, but I don't think that. Let's see. Captain Picard's private dining room was supposed to be the room they were in when they had dinner with Commander Kern in Sins of the Father, according to the script.
Yeah.
It was really a redress of the observation lounge.
Gotcha.
So they use the observation lounge sometimes as Picard's mess.
Well, now that we've spurred out on that,
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have.
no, it's good.
I should not have brought that up.
No,
I
it's good.
stand corrected though. I mean, I forgot all about that place.
Bergen, what fucking
Spurging is what makes this
podcasts are all
stream
about.
awesome.
Considering it's a Galaxy class ship and the
Yeah.
size of it, yeah, I would have kind of expected to be there.
I'd have been
So,
insulted if they didn't have one.
Yeah, but for Janeway to have such a big mess for
I mean, the Voyager's my favorite design out of all the ships, I think.
Oh, I like the Sovereign.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the
Or the
Sovereign.
Defiant, the Sovereign, yeah.
One thing about this episode, just to take it back out from the captain's mess for a second, I love the kind of the simplicity of the plot line.
Mhm.
This could have been out of the original series. You could have done this same plot line in the original series, and it would have been right at home with many other episodes.
That's fair.
yeah.
It was just good old space opera stuff. It wasn't didn't have a lot of soft stuff in it. Value member of the Q gets his lungs stolen by aliens. Hell yeah.
You say no soft stuff, but remember there was that point when he says, "Don't worry, I'm not going to kiss you," and he says, "I'll try to contain my disappointment."
Yeah, there's a rough and ready humor, which was all through the original series. Yeah, that exactly. So
I love it. They got some great lines in that episode. You picked a good one.
Yeah, that was
It's a very well written episode. Pretty
Yeah.
well acted, but very well written. There wasn't any part in it that I thought to myself, this story doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
Every point along the way, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
And I'm
that makes
about to
sense.
be very critical of flashbacks. I can hardly wait till we get there.
I do like to say though, at the Vidian, the interaction with the Vidians in sickbay was a good balance of serious and comedy, where like he takes out his scanning device and Tuvok immediately grabs his phaser and he's like, "This is set to scan only," and he goes, "Proceed carefully."
And doesn't put his weapon down. He
No.
keeps holding it right.
Yeah. Kept him.
And then he scans and scans, and then he turns to Doc and goes, "Strange. According to these readings, you are not here." Doc's like, "Believe me, I wish I wasn't." And then they switch to like talking about serious, who's gonna donate, and Doc's like, "Wait, we already discussed this," and just with not blinking an eye, "Your surgical techniques are inferior. All we will have to do is manipulate the immunogenesis. Basically alter the DNA of the lungs. It's no problem. It's just
No, he wanted to alter Neelix's ability to recognize the lungs as being foreign.
yeah."
He wanted to manipulate Neelix's immune system so they wouldn't reject the lungs. Not that they wanted to change the lungs at all. So the
Right.
lungs
It was changing Neelix's DNA structure to not
reject,
structure to not reject.
Yeah, how hard can that be?
Yeah, your surgical and
easy peasy.
yeah, your medical techniques are inferior.
The way he talks, that one guy is pretty straightforward. The other guy just talks like the world is beneath him.
Yeah.
She yells at him, and she says, "Am I understood?" And he says, "Quite."
I'm sorry, but
Like,
I have to say, I mean, I know we have some issues with Janeway, but her speech
Yeah, it was good speech.
when she captures them,
Yeah,
that was good.
yeah, it was.
That was really good. Because and you could tell, like, as a captain, she's like, I don't have any fucking options right now. I can't. I'm not even in my own quadrant, so I can't turn you over to my people for trial. I'm not gonna carry you forever in my brig.
Yeah,
And I'm not gonna kill you either.
It was well acted because she went just as far as she should have gone.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the script says, her acting was, she didn't go crazy and yelling and screaming and jumping down, but she wasn't very reserved either. She was as angry as she should have been. It was very well acted there.
Yeah.
Apparently, that she was like near tears the entire time, according to
That's what it sounded like. You could tell. Like,
yeah, it's great. You read the Captain's Log supplemental stuff; it's so good.
like the quaver in her voice as she's like holding back her rage,
she's
because
furious.
those sound like angry frustration tears that more than sadness.
Because she sympathizes. You could tell she sympathizes. Like, yeah, I get it, but I'm gonna have to hurt you if you try to touch us again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a great pick. I think that was an awesome episode.
Groovy.
I might be in the minority, but that would be, of the three, the least favorite of the three.
Yeah?
Not saying that it's not a 9. I'm just saying
You liked Flashback?
Better than this one?
well, Flashback is the thing about Flashback is it's nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's a big plus for me. It may not be
That's
a big plus for anybody else, but it was nice to see Sulu.
Oh no, I like Sulu. I might not like George Takei much anymore, but Sulu's always fun.
I liked the
Are you moving on to that?
yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's move
Unless
on.
there's any other comments about Phage.
I hate the name Smullis.
That's life signs.
Yeah, I know, but we're getting there eventually.
Okay.
I think they. The only thing I can add to this is I think they underutilized the Vidians. We don't see
Agreed.
them very often, and when we do,
Exactly.
they're not of any real import left or right. They're not really evil, but they're not really good. They're kind of like, eh. I mean,
Ladies
they are
and gentlemen, we have an otter.
great. But they are the human version of the Borg. Instead of harvesting your technology, they're harvesting your body parts. So the same idea, but Borg are much more dramatic and much more interesting than the Vidians ever were. I think it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I agree, man.
I think they should have. Yeah. What do you think, Polly? Vidians over Kazon, or should they have used Kazon less and the Vidians more?
Fuck the Kazon.
You're gonna say that.
I don't know. Like, I think of some times where it was like all right, but like you're choking it down. You're not enjoying it. It
was kind of rough to get through. You had to sit through so much of it.
Shit,
oh yeah, like there were some good one-offs, because if you give even like good writers giving crap can make some interesting things happen. But remember that horrible episode with the when Nog was in it, the Aaron Eisenberg,
Yeah.
who passed away shockingly, like of all people.
Yeah, that's pretty lame.
Yeah. Anyway, that when he was playing the little kid, and it was all about interaction between him and Chakotay, and the whole story was just him explaining the caste system inside of Kazon, where you need to rise up and prove yourself.
That was a horrible episode.
It was awful. Like, to me, that was the final straw when I was watching that. I was like, oh man, fuck the Kazon. This is just like, unless it's got Keska there in it. Seska. It's really not worth it when it comes to the Kazon. So yeah.
What was the Kazon episode where they got all the Kazon together and one of the Kazon brought a ship and tried to kill everybody?
Yeah, that was a
good episode.
It was, because clever writers are like, well, why, who are the Kazon? Well, how about they're like people that like overpowered their overlords and blah blah blah. And the whole it was a good episode, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, so it can be done, but when you,
so you're Team Vidian then.
Well, they got written out of the fucking show.
Thank God.
And the fact that the Doctor solved their whole phage problem for them, like, I mean,
here's some Klingon stuff. You're all solved.
Kind of undermined the whole point of that entire species, right? Like, I mean,
I mean, it's nice that they got a kind of a happy ending, but it sucks that it lasted only a short time.
Yeah.
I think there should have been at least one or two episodes that really went between the Federation and the Kazon and the Vidians. They really should have. I mean, there was that year. What was the year of hell? What was the one where they run into the Vidians again, but then in an alternate universe or something like that? Deadlock. Yeah.
There's two Voyagers.
Yeah, two Voyagers. Right. There should have been another episode or two of the Vidians, and there should have been a lot more backstory to it. It would have really filled them out.
Agreed. So we're going to move on to Flashbacks, which is the episode where Tuvok starts having repressed memories of a girl falling off a cliff, and he can't save her.
I want to make
God damn it, Blind. That's your description. That was so biased just because you don't like that was.
Shut up.
I did want to say that I think that Tim Russ is a fantastic Vulcan.
Yeah,
I love his diction and his measured delivery. I think he really played the character fantastic.
I agree with you.
He's number 3 Vulcan.
Why am I always the center with this kind of stuff?
You don't like Tim Russ?
It seems like everybody else likes everything and I hate it. And if I like it, everyone else hates it. I don't get why I'm always the guy in
I mean, but that makes an interesting dichotomy though.
It does.
Yes, but I mean I think he plays Tuvok completely incorrectly, because Vulcans in general are not supposed to be snobs, and he is a snob. He's a
little snarky.
He's not a snob.
He looks down on Neelix like a pet. He finds
him annoying. I don't know if he finds him that snob behavior. I mean, Neelix is annoying.
Well, he is annoying, and he gets called out on it. In
what is that fucking thing that the cartoon Spock as a boy rode that creature?
Oh,
Days of Yesteryear.
What's it called?
The animated episode series.
Yeah.
That's a Days of Yesteryear.
Yeah, what's the animal?
What's the name of the animal? Yeah.
Ichaya. Ichaya the pet. What the hell? I don't remember what the.
Guess
Fuck.
I
Oh
better
shit!
not
Yeah,
ever watch
they're
them.
like giant teddy bears, but with
Yeah.
6-inch fangs. They introduced
Yeah.
them in Journey to Babel. Fuck, from TOS. God damn it! What's their name? And then they encounter them again when they're searching for the Tashara in Enterprise. When they go to Vulcan.
Damn it.
Sailot.
Ceylon. That's
Ceylon.
it.
Damn.
Well
that
done.
That was a nice one.
But this episode, I don't hate it. Right? I no, I don't hate it because
You know what I liked? I liked the way that when we were on the Excelsior, that it felt like it was cinematic. The music,
I agreed. 100%. Yeah.
you know
what's really fun? If you are a huge Star Trek nerd and you remember back to the Undiscovered Country, there are actually snippets
Oh yeah, they pulled right from it.
of that in the episode, because
Yeah.
I remember watching the Undiscovered Country and there being scenes of the Excelsior, and I heard Tim Rutt. I'm like, and they said Ensign Tuvok, so it was right.
They had to hunt down that actor, the
did.
guy who plays his friend. They went out of their way to find him. He wasn't even an actor anymore.
Oh, wow.
He was like a machinist.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey man,
Yeah.
you want to come and be in
Remember when you were an actor?
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like when they went to find
But they
what's her
made
name?
made
Dr.
mistake-
Pulaski. She wasn't an actor anymore. They yanked her back into it.
Yeah. There was a couple of things that they redid though, that if you are really a Star Trek fan, you can tell the difference between what it was before and what it was now. Because there's a point where the wave hits the ship and Sulu's on the ground and the guy says the helm's not
Go on.
responding. And what Sulu says is aft thruster, turn her into the wave.
Yeah.
But in the TV show, he says turn her into the wave.
Yeah.
It's
He doesn't
different.
say
It doesn't
aft.
say it exactly the same way. It's different.
right.
And if you notice, the floor that his T falls and breaks on is
Yeah.
not. Yeah, it's not the same flooring as
Oh,
it is
really?
in the movie.
Why
Yeah.
don't they change that? That would seem weird. They could just pull that
Yeah,
right
guys
but
are
this is a
nerds.
memory. This is a memory.
Excellent call.
Too
Yeah,
much.
it's
That's a good way to get
it's
around it,
distorted
yeah.
because of that. Yeah.
It's a memory. There you go, Irate.
See, but you're
I
right.
read-
I would.
You're right in the feeling where this TV show turned into a movie for a little while, then turned
Yeah.
back into a TV show.
Yeah. It was really
See
cool.
I'm really upset by the way you described this episode, Blind. I can't get over that. It's like, yeah, it's about a little girl, but it's more like, okay, indulge me. Here would be my description of the episode. It would be for the anniversary of Star Trek, both series that were on at the time. DS9 did Trials and Tribulations, and as a callback to the original series, and Voyager that was on at the same time did a callback episode, and this was it.
Yeah.
So how are they going to put Voyager back on the original crew? So it's an episode of contrivances. You have to, the plot being that Tuvok is infected with a living brain virus, what have you, and it manifests itself in the form of this nightmarish image of a girl falling off a cliff that he's going to repress as a Vulcan and not think of. And so he ends up, and then the other contrivance is, oh, I'm going to join with Captain Janeway, and we're both going to go back together, and then we're going to.
She's gonna guide me through this memory, and
Yeah,
Was Tim Russ in Undiscovered Country?
yep.
He really was there.
as an extra. Yeah.
yeah. It, like I think it was clever as hell. How are we going to do this? Well, let's see if we can. I did like the line in between them. It's like he looked taller in his hologram in Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
And she's Tuvok, what's his line? He's like, well, holographic technology wasn't all it was up. Well, it was cracked up.
23rd century holographic technology is.
So this worked perfectly by accident.
Yeah, and they even
we
brought
found
in
out
what's her
that
name?
Tuvok is like over 150 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because that kind of
I-
fills in that gap. She talks about him being away from Starfleet for 50 years.
Yeah, it's 26 plus 80.
He was 29 when he.
Was it
on
29? I thought it was
Excelsior.
26.
No, he was 29.
29 plus 80 years later. So he's 109 at this moment.
And they write in Dude, one of the reasons I like Tuvok is that, like, yes, he's a snob, but he kind of is a snob. You're right, but I like that he plays it that way.
Vulcan wouldn't be a snob though, because being a snob requires emotion.
He's cultural. He's a cultural Vulcan, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But Hammer, you and I have agreed before. One of the things, because like I say, he's my third favorite Vulcan. Like mostly, it goes Spock, Sarek, Tuvok in that order. You have to be able to betray emotion that you're keeping repressed on your face while acting like you're dispassionate. That's the challenge as an actor, and that's why Zachary Quinto sucks balls, because he can't do it.
Right?
He doesn't have the chops. Leonard Nimoy did it like crazy. Mark Sarek did it like crazy, and Tim Russ can pull it off. Meaning they have personalities. They just have to go out of their way to repress it and go through all this meditative stuff, et cetera, to push it down, because their emotions are a crazy torrent that no human could deal with, as you find out in different episodes like Sarek and TNG, when, you know, it's like, well, holy shit, these guys must be overwhelmed with emotion. No, they're just very good at repressing their insane emotions. So it's, naturally by his personality, Tuvok's kind of a dick. Like, you're not wrong. He is kind of a, but he represses it. And you find out that he, at one time in his life, was very prejudiced against humans.
Yeah, I love that little outburst he has, what does he say? The amount of mishaps that have happened in your short existence because of fun. It's amazing your species is still alive.
Yeah, no shit.
And like, here's some like after the fact shit.
Point, man.
Yeah.
It is.
Well,
like, Hammer, you should appreciate this idea. I kind of did like a fan connection there. If anything, Tuvok's more like a really, really old school Vulcan, like they were in Enterprise, where they're all a bunch of condescending pricks.
Yeah, true.
Like, even Janeway for a minute was like, dude, do you still feel that way? She was even, for a couple of seconds there, she was like, do I know you?
It's not. I guess it's not so much I'm sticking up for Neelix, but it really does come down to mostly that. Because, I mean, if B'Elanna would have put a drink in front of Tuvok and say, try this, Tuvok would just pick it up and try it. But when Neelix puts a drink in front of him, which sounds completely reasonable, it's orange juice plus a little bit of papaya juice, he's like, and turns his nose up. And he, I just, the way he treats Neelix just doesn't seem very Vulcan to me.
But you're right, and he gets called out on it by a bunch of non-Vulcans in that episode, Ascent or Rise, I think it was called. I can't Rise. Where they're just like, you're just being a prick to me. I assure you, I am not. And it's like, no,
even
we can see it.
Even Neelix gets some balls in that episode, and straight up is like, you know what, dude, I'm done. I tried.
Like, you're showing visible irritation with me all the time, and you're supposed to be a Vulcan, and the other people on that lifting craft call him out on it, and it's like, you really need to think this over. Like, you're not as repressed as you think you are. You're just being a prick. Hammer, you're not wrong.
No.
He focuses his anger right in on Neelix and ends up getting called out for it badly. It's
anyway,
and he's not a very good Vulcan. Like, in terms of, like, you find out, like, he had that whole fell in love with a human girl while he was in school and rejected the Vulcan way. Remember that?
Yeah, that episode.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I remember that now.
He's had long-standing problems. It's only in his very advanced age that he's been able to come to being a reasonable Vulcan, and he's still terrible at it because he fucks with Neelix all the time. Like, he's not actually that great at it. And that's good. That's a cool character trait.
And he gets fucked up by melding with psychopathic beta Zeds. And
yep. Yeah, and becomes a crazy. When he gets his emotions repressed, he wants to kill his captain. Remember that, or gets his emotions released. Like, this guy's fucking up all over the place. So it's like Mr. Perfect Vulcan. No, he's far from that.
To the point where Janeway at the end of that episode has to be like, "No more mind melds without my permission."
I think this was a good choice as a favorite episode. It stands out as a really fun episode to me. It's clearly all for the sake of making him somehow connect with TOS, but it works. I'm okay with it.
I agree. We also have Equinox, and no, that's not cheating. Because it's once Equinox.
Oh yeah.
two-parters are not cheating. It's one story still. It's just told in 2 episodes. So, ha!
Yeah.
So
Another really good choice.
Irate, this was Irate. These were Irate's picks. And so Equinox is a great two-parter centered around Voyager discovering another Federation ship in the Delta Quadrant. And not only is it a Federation ship, but it's a planetary, like an interplanetary vessel. So it's got like no business being.
Yeah. There's how in the fuck did it get there, right?
It has like absolutely no business
Caretaker.
being in deep space. Yeah, exactly. And they even do that. They when the captains meet, they both actually say caretaker at the same time, and Janeway just goes, "We have a lot to talk about." But this episode, or two-part episode, centers around them discovering a whole bunch of atrocities that this vessel has committed in order to get home as fast as, like, to cover the distance that they've covered. Because no vessel that goes, what was it, warp 6 that they could top out at. There's no way they would have gotten from where the caretaker deposits ships
to ahead of them
to where Janeway and them find them in 5 years. No fucking way. So
people don't understand the difference between warp 9 and warp 6.
Yeah,
it's
big.
Can I point out a nerd problem I have with this point here?
Sure.
It doesn't matter. It's just they could have handled it with a sentence, but they didn't. So I'm gonna pick. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, like okay, they're going to. There's you're right. It's a logarithmic scale. The warp scale. That the difference between 6 and what is it that Voyager can go? It's cruising is 9.965 or something insane like that. Like
975, I believe.
Okay, so they could push damn near turn into amphibian speed.
Yes.
And there's some inside baseball for those who know. It doesn't make any sense because when she asked Captain Ransom, how many more would it take, Captain? He says, 22.
Yeah.
22 more to get us home. And a little bit of me died with every one of them or whatever bullshit he says, right? Okay, wait a minute, 22. Voyager's way the fuck further. All of you are way the fuck further from Earth than that. They're calculating it's going to be 22 years for them to get home, not 22 of them little flying CGI things you're going to have to kill. It doesn't. They could have handled it with a line like that they were doing some sort of transwarp deal and moving insanely fast, much faster than warp 9 or whatever.
I've got to acknowledge something that Paula Dove just pointed out there, man. The graphics are not holding up.
They're really not.
Holy shit, man. I mean,
1990s graphics aren't cutting it.
Oh my
God. I think the Phage was much worse, though. Every time that little girl fell.
Oh, the flashback?
The flashback scene where she falls when they're holding hands and, Tuvok, don't let me fall. And she falls. That fall is like, oh my God, that's horrible.
That was horrible, too, yeah.
That was really bad.
Oh, as a quick little flashback, since Hammer brought up the falling girl, I thought it was a nice visual thing. I don't know, blind, if anyone's ever said this to you. Sorry if I'm being rude, but there's like a great visual cue or visual storytelling they do at the end when the girl falls. You're no. It flashes back through all of the different people that virus has pretended to be over the thousands of years that it's been doing this. It goes
kind of do that by sound because when the no keeps happening, it bounces and it kind of like there's a little.
It's cool. It shows different alien children accidentally letting her drop, and then a little alien kid in like bear skins, like he's from a primitive race, and all of these different falls. That's how long this thing has been active, jumping from person to person.
Wow.
And when it jumps into Janeway's mind, it's her as a little girl letting it fall. And I thought that's how long this creature has been parasiting off of people. I was like, that was cool.
That is cool. Wikipedia snippet says the aliens from Equinox reminds him of the monsters from the first Quake.
Kinda. Nucleogenic life forms do kind of look like that.
Oh yeah, that's what they're called, nucleonic life forms. That's right.
Yep.
Did
And of course, one of the reasons that the Equinox crew has been able to develop this compound from these creatures is because they've disabled the ethical subroutines in their emergency medical hologram. So they basically have turned the EMH into
Dr. Mangala.
Dr. Mengele. Yeah. And Robert Picardo does a masterful performance. But I just have a little gripe. And I have a gripe with Doc in a few episodes, because he's done this more than once. Stop bragging about your goddamn mobile emitter to every motherfucker you see, you idiots. Seriously.
I was wondering if it was the same point that I had. He disables him like evil doctor disables Doc by tapping him with the fucking pad he had in his hand. I've said it before and I've said it again. How many times has that fucking happened where the thing nearly gets destroyed? The macroscopic virus is nearly destroyed.
Yeah.
Man, have the thing in the center of your foot. You're a hologram. Have it floating somewhere in the center of your body, or more likely down by your foot, where it can't just get tapped by any old fucking thing, especially evil doppelgangers of yourself.
Ugh. It drives me crazy because he's done this before with the hologram that they find on the ship, the contaminated ship that's all, wonky, the isomorphic projection.
The crazy guy who hates biological life forms.
Yeah, and Doc tells him about the frickin' mobile emitter, and then he steals it from him. And
What's the name of that episode?
Revulsion.
I have a what do you want to call it? A confession. I was going to add that to my list.
Hey, that's fine. That's a fun episode.
So don't go too hard into that, but yeah.
But I mean, there are so many episodes where Doc just, because he can't shut up about his mobile emitter, he gets disabled, and then of course 7 of 9 gets her freaking that was creepy as hell. The evil doctor just
that scene is one of the things that stands out to me. Is like, okay, what I don't like about this episode, this 2-parter, but it's one episode. It's the scene where Doc is like he's got 7 of 9 and like dismembered more or less, like her head's wide open, and he's just pressing buttons and making her sing and stuff like this. I'm like, this is horrifying. I find that scene very fucking disturbing.
That was the point, though, because it even got Ransom going, what the fuck did I do?
Well, it was a violation.
Yeah.
Right?
Horrible one.
Like,
Ransom,
at one point, he's even like, stop it. Right? And evil Doc's like, well, come on, Captain. Just a little fun. Right?
You know what that felt like? You know what I mean?
Oh, Skep, what did you want to say?
You know what that scene felt like to me was almost a holler back to 2001: A Space Odyssey, when Hal is getting disconnected.
Yes.
He starts singing Daisy, Daisy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it slows down, of course. Anyway, I was just wondering if that was a shout out to that.
Might be good.
And you know what's funny to me? Okay, I got a blind. You'll know this for any of us. Well, what's the episode where they are where Doc first becomes the ECM, the emergency, or ECH, the emergency command hologram?
I
like that episode.
Is I believe I want to say Tenor Tinker Dr. Spy.
Well, I mean, he becomes the emergency command hologram in there, but did they not introduce it in an earlier episode?
No, they did it later. They actually I think they actually decided at one point that they would do that for real.
So does that happen before or after
After.
Equinox?
After, because it's a season 6 episode, and this is ending of 5, beginning of 6.
According to Google, the emergency command hologram, aka ECH, is first coined by the Doctor in the episode Tinker Tenor Dr. Spy,
yeah.
in which he creates a program which allows him to daydream. So that's where you first hear of it.
Okay, I thought it was something that I didn't realize he created, and then they later decided to institute it. Okay, because what I was about to argue is like 7 of 9 waltzes into sickbay at the end of the episode, and he's like, "Oh, I feel so bad for what I did to you," which you should.
Yes.
And she's like, "Oh, well, it's okay. Perhaps I can help you install some security features." And it's like, you didn't do that before now? There's fucking security features. Like, on the fucking food replicators, there's fucking security features. You can't do shit on board. But the fucking, like, this guy who could conceivably turn himself into the emergency command hologram doesn't have basic security features. Did you see how quickly Ransom deactivated his ethical subroutines? He pushed like 3 buttons.
Yeah.
You got to keep in mind that the ECH was never designed to be a regular doctor. So how much security are you going to put on a thing that's probably never going to be used?
Well, they had sent him off ship and done all of these other things, and they're also security conscious, and Borg algorithms are floating around everywhere. And you know,
but in season 1, episode 1, when he was first activated, that's the ECH that that was supposed to be. They had to change him over that period of time to the point where they should have been putting security in as they went.
Yes, they should have.
So they should have. You're absolutely like, from the beginning. Should there have been security features? No, I don't think so either. Because it's supposed to be super temporary, like you're saying. It's only in emergencies. But like, I mean,
how often did they use it in TNG?
Once.
Once. Did they use it? How often did they? But that was in the movie. How often did they use it in DS9? They never used it. So that's typical.
Well, they tried to create a better one in DS9, but it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Doc having to work with Bashir? The egos on both of them. Oh my god.
Well, I don't know. We got a taste of what Dr. Zimmerman is like.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Doc's like downright nice when they're interacting. You know what I mean?
Sunshine personality, man. Jesus.
So I always drag the conversation off from the episode. So with Equinox,
can someone explain something to me? Because I've never had this explained. How the hell did 7 of 9 get into Ransom's synaptic stimulator?
Thank you.
I don't know, but she was hot.
Well, that was. I think it was
his own
psychosis, mind, right?
Yeah, it was. I think it was like his own mind playing tricks on him.
Yeah, it was imaginary.
Like, what the fuck,
Yeah, kind of thing. Yeah.
That's the only way I can.
This is sublimation.
That myself, like, because I'm like, wait, did she like put herself there? Her brain pattern, or is he hallucinating? Or
yeah.
That was really hard to figure out when you can't see.
The actors that they got to play both captain and first officer were fucking outstanding. Both
John Savage, and I don't know that other dude's name, but he's still acting now.
Yeah, he is. He was in The Town. He was
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, had a really solid role in Deadwood. Williver, Titus Williver.
Yes.
Yeah. Fucking outstanding actor, like both of them, like great picks. Like if you would pick half-ass actors that
the black guy, man, is in The Magicians, and was on Battlestar Galactica, the reboot.
Oh,
yeah. Everybody forgets the Cylon, the black dude, the one that experimented on. I was going to say Kira. I meant, but Boomer. I'm not Boomer.
I need to watch that series again. Battlestar Galactica. That was a great series.
Yeah.
Whenever people start pulling apart Star Trek episodes, like even the ones that are like more middling ones, It's like you start to see why they're worth talking about and what's missing from Discovery, what's missing from the J.J. Abrams with the whole Kelvin timeline. It's like you guys, meaning writers, just aren't working as hard anymore. If you think about all of the details to make it look like a lived-in universe, the world building. So you have Savage, Captain Ransom. Okay, he's an exobiologist. Nobody believed that this certain species existed until he proved otherwise. This guy who seeks out new life is the one who ends up destroying it. The irony of that, it becomes a tension. Janeway calls him out on it.
Janeway goes pretty crazy herself.
The captain versus captain dynamic. They write it up. They make it a big thing. They make a tension between Chakotay and Janeway that had existed before. They make a relationship that had happened back at Starfleet between B'Elanna Torres and Titus Welliver's character.
Right.
Like, there's little things, stuff, constant, 7 of 9, you're my angel of mercy, he calls her, because she was the one who attended him very briefly when he was trapped under that beam on the ship. They give the science officer claustrophobia. We don't go into turbo lifts because what happens if an alien appears? It's just stuff, things. It makes it real, fulsome. When you watch Discovery, there's none of that in there.
Well, it's like today's modern comic books, man. It's like there's only the figures and the background. It doesn't exist anymore.
It's like the writers just aren't working, or they're being told to keep it really simple. In any case, they're failing. It's not fulsome. What's to talk about? What's to remember?
But I see what you're saying. It's like it's like a Big Mac versus just a regular hamburger.
Yeah,
the whole shebang. Multiple storylines going on. It's very meaty.
Yep.
I like the little race at the end between B'Elanna and Maxwell.
Yeah, when I taught him that one. He used that.
I
taught him that, and she's all pissed off.
Janeway gives a speech, towards the end of the episode when, are we at the point? Have we even talked about what they're doing?
So what they're doing is they're basically taking these creatures and they're breaking their structures down into a crystalline form that they are putting in they've modified their engines to basically
run on aliens.
Run on alien corpse.
Right.
Like deconstructed.
I had a Buick that did that.
Oh my God. The entire episode is a criticism of fossil fuels.
So so Voyager is basically trying to stop these people from continuing this.
It's like, fuck, man. You're killing these beings. What the fuck?
And not only are you killing these beings, but these beings are the gods or the protecting spirits of another alien culture, and that alien culture welcomed you with freaking supplies and medical assistance and food.
What occurred to me? It's like they accidentally killed the first one. They tried to send it back. It was too late. They fucked up and they killed it by accident. So it's like, okay, right. But then they get the ideas when they
put it in the fucking warp drive.
Yeah, well, they after they do an analysis, he quickly says, "Well, then we understood we could use it as a power source." It's like, why didn't you just perfect your communication with them to the point where it wouldn't kill them?
Yeah.
But then you could say, "Hey, do you guys have any pets or nucleonic plankton that we could use?"
Or they could have turned themselves into their morticians. When somebody died, hey,
you got any dead bodies?
Exactly.
Maybe the trees in their world would have worked. Did you think to perfect the system,
right?
Instead of just going, hey, let's kill a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
You guys went
other
really
things have DNA.
really fast.
Other things have DNA, plant material.
Yeah, that really.
Yeah, they went full murder. Really,
it really did, and that's and to have Chakotay kind of be telling Janeway she's too emotional. It's like, well, of course she's fucking emotional. Just the captain of her, like a captain should not, like, his officer came up with this idea. He should have been like, no, that's a bad idea. We're not doing that. You know, like
right. Well, this is the prime directive. I mean, you know, it's like, and it's all about Starfleet protocol, right?
Yeah.
The argument between he and Janeway.
And he's like, you don't know what it's like to be on a ship that's not intact, with its bulkheads are not intact, and blah blah. And I was just waiting for Janeway to be like, listen, you shithole, I have so been exactly where you are, so shut up.
No, her ship is so much better than their ship that she's never been in the position like he has. You have to keep in mind that through all of this, that this ship is not going to make it past the Borg.
No, that's true. That's true.
Well, you
They
do
got
see
lucky.
you do see them go down into the trenches hard during the Year from Hell, which was interesting to see Janeway now in Ransom's spot, like a ship that cannot be fixed, no luxuries whatsoever. And yeah, she goes full crazy. What's interesting is that their command structure never really does break down, where it does under from the Equinox's crew. Where it's like Rudy and Max, and that was a nice touch. They're calling each other by their first names.
Man, that just would never happen in the Navy. I'll tell you that right now. That's not happen.
He said they couldn't afford the luxury of decorum, right?
That's
I think that's
when you need it most.
It is a cop out. No, you're absolutely right. It is a cop out. Right.
Yeah. The other thing was Chakotay should have been relieved for cause when he opened his mouth. Janeway. I would, if I had been Janeway, I would have relieved him.
You think
right
she
there.
waited too long to relieve him of duty?
Absolutely, absolutely. He was fully insubordinate in a public place to the CO. That's violates everything from insubordination to conduct on becoming an officer. Get the fuck out of Dodge.
She was committing murder right in front of him.
Then he should have relieved her for cause, which he can do. And
he didn't do it.
Yeah, and that's a dodgy thing, because generally when that's done, it's frequently done at gunpoint. It happened a lot more in the 19th century than it's happened in the 20th or 21st century in the United States.
Well, you bring up a really interesting point, Skep. That could have been super high drama, and they kind of missed a little bit of an opportunity there.
Really
Chakotay walks down the hallway to one of those armory ports that always seem to be conveniently in reach,
right?
And pulled out a phaser and said, "Captain." As she starts to walk away.
I'm going to program you to your restricted quarters until further.
Yeah, and it becomes a beef of like, it's like, I'm not giving up command, Mr. Chakotay. I'm not allowing you the option, Captain.
Phaser on stun.
Yeah, and then like now writers do something with it, make something interesting.
That could have been cool. That episode,
but instead they had her, relieve him of duty, and then threatened Tuvok when he was pointing out that because she was like, "I'll give you the Equinox if you leave us alone," and Tuvok's like, I don't think that's very Starfleet. And she's like, I've already confined my first officer to quarters. Would you like to join him? And then she turns back to the view screen and goes, well, do we have a deal? It's like, God damn, Janeway.
This episode keeps bringing up an ongoing beef that I have with Voyager, that it's like, okay, I get it's about Voyager. For Christ's sake, the show is named Voyager. I understand that. But it would have been nice if they would have turned it into the Voyager convoy towards the Alpha Quadrant. I kept thinking that. Like
it seemed like a natural progression. Like that's where it was going to go. They pick up new friends, and they're all like, "Yeah, there's a better place on the other side of that mountain."
Yeah, so you're coming with us. It would have been cool if they did it kind of, sort of, a little bit with the Delta Flyer, but not to the degree that I wanted to see it, where it's always coming in. I wanted to see, hey, listen, Neelix's ship has been in the shuttle bay this whole fucking time, and it's just sitting there, and you don't ever hear hide nor hair of it again up until the episode of the Voyager conspiracy, when he mentions it and says, you want original scans from when the caretaker took us in? My shuttle's still in the shuttle Bay, and I took scans at that time. And you don't even hear. It's like, wait a minute, your ship's been just sitting down there this whole fucking time.
You hear about it a couple of times.
Do you
before that.
you hear of it other than then? Really?
Yeah, there's a mention of it actually near the beginning of the series, when when they accidentally go inside what they thought was a nebula, but it turned out to be a creature.
Yeah. The pitcher plant thing. Yeah.
And Neelix is like, well, me and Kess are out of here. I want your
That
crew
ship
to
only-
prepare my shuttle.
That ship can only do warp 2, though, right? It was like really, really slow.
It was, yeah.
They
and
could bring it
Janeway's-
inside Enterprises, the
Easy.
Voyager's warp field, something like. It was a shame the Equinox was destroyed, is where it ends, because it's like, here's another ship. It would have been cool to see 2 Federation ships. If one fully functioning, they could have built the other one back up to spec. And it's like, yes, it's
Or
a tiny
improved
little, or improved it. Fuck yeah, with all sorts of Borg shit and what have you. And Tom Paris never gets sick of fucking souping shit up. And it would have been a tiny little Nova class ship along with the big ass Intrepid class. It would have been sweet. Or we're gonna rotate crews between both ships. So
Can you imagine them getting into a fight with somebody and suddenly instead of having one ship going against them, you had 3, because of course the Delta Flyer could just pop out. It had great phasers and speed too. I mean, it was the one that broke the warp 10 barrier. So, oh no, that was Charlotte Cochrane. But the point
absolutely, they'd absolutely moved beyond the idea of
just one
truly episodic television from that point, where things can change. They'll bring on new crew members, they'll do things, and then Paris is demoted and he stays an ensign for a good long time before he's promoted. Like, so things can change. So it's like Dax said, it seems like a natural progression that you would have more than just the one fucking ship constantly. Yeah. That's just dangerous in a lot of ways.
It's a dumb idea. You need friends and active friends, not just, oh, we can trade with you occasionally. No, you want people who are like, yeah, no, we like the fact that you would need to survive.
Yeah.
I guess nobody wanted to go to the Alpha Quadrant. No, we like the Quadrant.
Neelix was the only die-hard alien devotee, apparently.
Yeah.
Even Kess turned around and went back home.
And Neelix didn't end up going with him anyway. Remember, he stayed at the colony.
No, almost made it. It was only a couple episodes, right? Like 3 episodes?
Yeah.
3 episodes,
before the end?
Yep.
I liked Equinox. Like I said, I think that it was the second favorite of the 3. I still like the nostalgia of seeing Sulu and the pieces from
and there was a sick burn in
country.
there when she said, "You never brought me tea."
Oh yeah, you never brought me.
Brought me tea, man.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was good.
I'm not sucking up.
Anyone else really like the little speech Sulu gives about the difference between, like, serving on the bridge of a starship isn't just about carrying out orders and serving or doing, following guidelines. Sometimes it's about, the men and women you serve with and their friends and their family. And sometimes serving on a starship is about the loyalty. And it brings that sense of nostalgia because, yes, Sulu's a captain and he has his own ship now. But goddammit, Kirk and McCoy are wrongfully held, and he's going to go get them.
Even if they're rightfully held, I have a feeling he'll still go get them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they were a little too quick to pull their phasers and a little too slow to invoke the Prime Directive.
I was sitting there going, one Prime Directive.
I love the line so much because it's such a tip of the hat to classic Kirk. Because Kirk, he's the man to me, right? Yeah. Where it's like, well, by that time, Captain Kirk had provided his own escape, and I'm like, yes, he did.
He was by far the best captain.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
We're not going to have this argument again, are we?
We got to see how Polydub weighs on this shit.
Well, you do know that.
Kirk as well.
Okay, so we had the argument out Hammer where it was like, I said, you're saying Picard's a better officer, but it's because Picard had it easy in the 24th century. It was, things were a lot harder on Kirk. That's why he had to do what he had to do, was my argument.
Yeah, the
But-
decisions Kirk had to make were much, much harder than the decisions that Picard had to make. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think
No
so.
comparison.
And when you do see shades of Picard in different situations, especially from the movies, that when put in tough decisions, he makes a lot of Kirk calls.
Yeah.
Picard's got a lot of cowboy diplomacy in him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'd be willing to do a lot of Kirk-ass things if put in the spot of the 23rd century like Kirk was in.
Yeah.
I can
He'd be
afford
like-
to be a diplomat when I'm aboard the flagship.
Yeah, you'd be
You know?
like turning off the safeties and Tommy gutting the Borg to death and screaming while he's doing it.
Picard is now welcome, my
Cowboy.
little friend.
Yeah.
Well, I think more like along the lines of what he did to save his hot MILF crush in Insurrection.
Yeah.
It's like these people. Yeah. It's the Baku that you're worried about.
It's all of the Baku, not
Yeah,
just the one.
It's not your super hot girlfriend or anything. It's
I'm doing it for the people.
All of them, every single person. Yes.
My assertion has always been, if I had to choose between the two, I'd rather serve under Picard
Yeah.
than Kirk. Kirk had the charisma.
You
But
also
you're-
tended to die under Kirk.
Yeah, you're gonna die if you're with Kirk.
well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Picard is the safest captain.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah,
you just
there's-
die with, like, a
There's
lot of
actually
fun memories
statistics
and shit.
about how likely you are to die under Kirk.
Yeah.
Picard.
That's what I'm
By far
quoting.
the highest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm quoting. There was actually a YouTube video about it. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm quoting from.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
We're all red shirts.
Well, I would say this. It's like you're more likely to die. That would be number one. But a very close number two is, can you imagine serving on the Enterprise or Enterprise A as compared to the D?
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the D is a fucking warp speed palace compared to the original
So
Enterprise.
what you're saying is all the nerds want the D.
Ah.
Ooh, snap.
Ow.
Ching.
It's like those guys kept talking about from Trekcast, a Star Trek podcast I listen to.
Yep.
It's like the greatest job you could possibly have would be to work in 10 forward.
Oh yeah.
Is that you don't want to be an officer. Those jobs suck. You only see the action-packed moments. Most of it's administrative stuff. And God help you if you're a crewman. All you're doing is running diagnostics and handing pads over to your superiors all day.
Yep.
Most of your job is real. And working for Geordie LaForge, everyone knows it. That guy's a prick. He's
Yeah.
insufferable. It would be the worst thing in the world to have that guy as your commanding officer. Imagine working in engine. No, work in the bar. You get to hang out with everyone, talk with everyone, be cool. Unlimited access to the replicators and the holodecks. You get to go exploring with everyone else. Just
Get
kind
to
of be
hang
like,
out with Guided.
yeah, you get to hang out with Guinan. She knows everything about everyone and,
You get
and
the best
listens
view on the
really
ship,
well.
too.
Yep, best view, and you find out all the hot news because
Yep.
everybody comes there to gossip, and everyone wants you to like them. You're the fucking bartender, and so you give them some extra drinks and slip them real alcohol instead of synthahol, and find out everything you want to know. Greatest job.
Everyone always says how great Guinan is, but what about Ben?
Yeah, Ben's pretty cool too.
I like
But
Ben.
he seemed to be more interested in the younger members of the crew than. I mean, he was friends with Riker and all that kind of stuff, but he seemed to hang around with the junior officers a lot.
Agreed.
What's the problem with that?
Well, it's just that Guinan had access to the captain. Is something about
Kinda-
prestige that goes
Well,
along
there's
with that.
the theory
Yeah, well-
that she definitely had access to the captain.
Basically, Ben's job is the job that they're talking about. Come to think of it, that would be the best job on the Enterprise.
Right.
Yeah, just carrying drinks to people.
Yeah, because if you want to know stuff technical, like you want to do tactical training, you want to learn about how warp engines work, go to the fucking holodeck and run a training program.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, you can find out anything you want to know, and there's more than enough informed people to tell you, like, point you in the right direction and stuff. Like, oh yeah, man, you got the world's your oyster if you're hanging out. And I mean, seriously, how hard is your job working? Like doing Ben's job, is that real tough?
Ben was a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. He was
It's pretty
Doc-
easy to be chill when you got that guy's job. I understand why he was so laid back. You know what I
Doctor,
mean?
no, I would never work for Quark.
God, no. Are you fucking insane? I love Quark and I still wouldn't work for him.
Especially if you were a woman. You're
Yeah.
contractually obligated to fulfill sexual favors. Jesus.
And all you get to do is play Dabo. Like, fuck.
I mean,
you don't
I-
even
I
get to
wanna
play
play
Dabo. You just get to be the freaking Dabo girl.
You had to run the Dabo game.
Polly would make the best Dabo girl.
Man, Chase Masterson.
Oh my god.
Mega Fox. Jesus Christ. What a gorgeous woman.
That
So
was
good when she's not naked.
That was one of the best lines when they were. Oh shit! What was the name of the DS9 episode where Dr. Zimmerman comes to DS9 to base the LMH on Dr. Bashir, and his genetic status is uncovered because they talk to his parents.
Yeah.
There's that great scene when they're both looking down on where the Dabo's going on in Quark's bar.
Yeah.
Dr. Zimmerman and Bashir. He says, "Oh, I want to schedule interviews with everyone who knows you, your friends." He goes, "Who is that girl?" Dr. Zimmerman says, looking at Chase Masterson.
Oh yeah.
He goes, "Oh yeah, she's one of the double girls, my ex-girlfriend." And he looks over at him like, "You
idiot."
you had her." I don't believe it.
Yeah, Dax has got a good point though. She looks better in clothes than she does out of clothes.
God, she does. I'm really disappointed at what lies beneath.
Yeah, she did. She's done some nudity, and it's not what you would expected.
It's not good.
No, it's not good.
And by the way, that's one of the things that amazes me. We've all, I'm sure, or those who want to, have seen Marina Sirtis naked. She didn't need a boob job. Why'd she get a boob job in her 50s? That's just weird.
That's
She's still hot.
until she speaks.
Well, and being an artist, I'd seen lots of like nude models and shit, and the ones that looked good in clothes rarely looked hot out of them. It was really weird because the ones you wouldn't think looked, were very visually appealing. Ended up, anyway. But yeah, that's
She's pretty face too, so she's got more than
beautiful face. Yeah, horrible politics. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, is she another SJW?
Man, another rabid. Yeah. Oh,
Who
man.
Chase Masterson is?
Yeah.
Yes, man.
And Sirtis.
It's fun. It's a disease.
Can we just safely say that it's like all of them except for William Shatner?
Yes.
It's Hollywood AIDS.
No,
Right? Like Shatner's the only based one in the whole group, it seems.
no,
Yeah.
Chuck Woolery. Oh, you mean just a Star Trek?
And the
Yeah.
track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to name a couple other people who have come out as being conservatives, and like Chuck Woolery is one. And who's the guy? Oh, they banned him. He was James Woods. Yeah, there it is. James Woods.
Mhm.
Another.
I miss him.
God, he's a good actor too, man.
Well, Dr. Nell says, do you think Kirk would make love to 7 of 9? 7 of 9 was always like looking to explore humanity and pull to charismatic people. Yeah, oh yeah.
She's asking based on reputation alone
He
because
could
he
go
knows
where no
what
man had gone before. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
where Harry Kim should have gone before, but
very
didn't.
Kirkish. Very
And it-
Kirk.
she was
Well,
ready
Pink
to
Hollis
do
is like-
Harry Kim. So I mean,
It's like Dean
Carlos is-
Cain.
Yeah, Dean Cain is pretty.
He is, but like,
Oh, I
it's-
love Dean.
I think a lot of the people that it's like, is Brent Spiner really liberal? I don't know. He signs off on things. Okay.
Had to respond.
I think a lot of them are going along to get along. I think half of Hollywood is going along to get
Yeah.
along when it comes
Yeah.
to liberal politics. They're just saying, yeah. Like, are they really sending stuff out of their own Twitter that's constantly fuck Trump, vote for Hillary, whatever the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that way to me. I think some of them are, but a lot of them are just going along to get along.
I think you're right.
I mean, I'd like to get hired again and not be recognized as some alt-writer like William Shatner. Did you see what happened to that guy? Like,
So Dax, you said you would like to go after Irate, correct?
Yeah.
Whether or not I wanted to, I volunteered. to.
Yes, you did. You did volunteer. Do you have your picks up?
I've
or-
got 2 of 3 ready, but I'm only
Okay.
going to give one on the air, and we already kind of talked about it, so I might as well use that one first.
So Revulsion is your
Revulsion is my first.
Revulsion.
all right, and that is season 4, episode 5, I think.
Yeah, I like that episode quite a bit. I love that actor, just to preface this. He's part of the reason why I enjoy the episode so much.
Yeah. So, my friends, thank you all for watching. Thanks to my panel for coming out and talking, and glad to have Polydub here for
Special
guest.
Special guest. Come and hang out with Minions of the Zoo tonight. Skep, are you keeper tonight?
Yes, I am. I was going to hope that you were going to be on with me.
Yes, I will. I will come and help you out.
Great.
as
If you're
as
feeling like it.
to return the favor for yesterday. Thank you
Well,
very much, by the way.
If you're not feeling like it, let me know. But
I should be
I would
okay.
love to have you on.
I should be okay.
Good.
And Irate, who do you have tomorrow for ice cream?
Kyra Zari.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's 5 p.m. Eastern, correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So I'm starting to get into the Minions and this neighborhood here.
Nice.
So yeah, I got some people coming up. Inquisitor, Laura. She's not one. And I've been talking to Hammer.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
And of course, the blind and the special tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
And Polly, are you still doing comic book curation?
Yep.
Okay, and that's Wednesdays, correct?
Yeah, we just haven't done one in a while. We've been lazy, so we're gonna get back on it, I'm sure.
Well, do you do like weekly comics on that, or do you just talk about?
The stories tend to go like the news stories that we talk about tend to be like topical for the week, like things that have happened in the past week,
Right.
that have come out. But the comics we talk about are kind of all over the place. Like when we do our pitches at the end, where we try and interest each other in a comic each. Yeah, they can be new or they can be from the mid 1980s. It's sort of all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, go ahead and check out the Polydub's channel on YouTube and Irate's channel as well. And I'd like to thank everybody for watching. And Dax, do you have anything that you do or for your channel, or are you just doing?
I do this.
You do this.
Usually, I chill for Chaos Eve because I love the Macabre game she chooses. So I keep forgetting to prep the link, but you all know who she is.
Yes.
So go watch some of her stuff.
She is a lovely minion, and she is awesome. So on that note, everybody, thank you all for watching, and we will catch you next Saturday for another Star Trek stream. Have a great rest of your evening, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye out.